Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Good afternoon and welcome to the October 14th, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting, starting a little bit earlier this evening because the board hopefully will go into non-public for approximately an hour. And then at 6:30, we have three board interviews, committee interviews, and we'll be back up for regular business at 7 o'clock. So with that, I would entertain a motion to enter into non-public under RSA 91A 32L.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please.
Selectwoman Gilman?
Aye.
Selectman Chartran?
Aye.
Clerk says aye, Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. The board will be in non-public. Thank you.
For this week's report. A solution to drafty windows that can save you money. All veterans tax credit discussed. Making strides against breast cancer walk returns. Raptors swoop into Exeter for Talon Tuesday. Interim town manager presents draft FY26 budget. School updates from SAU 16. And Gabe attends the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. Good afternoon, Exeter. Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and like this video to help spread word about the show and all things Exeter. For our first segment, the Exeter Energy Committee has a reminder about their ongoing Window Dressers program, which can keep you warm and save you money this winter. Gabe Perez has the details.
If you have drafty windows, we have exciting news for you. In January of this year, the Energy Committee hosted a Window Dressers community build, assembling low-cost, reusable inserts to stop drafty windows, saving heating expenses and making homes instantly more comfortable. For this year's program, the Energy Committee has expanded the eligible towns to include all of the SAU 16 district. Any resident in Exeter, Brentwood, Stratham, Kensington, East Kingston, and Newfields can order inserts for their home. The time to order is now to secure a fall measuring date for these custom-fitted inserts. Visit windowdressers.org to sign up. A volunteer will schedule a time to measure your windows and determine the cost. There are options that are also available for people experiencing financial challenges. Last year, we spoke with Exeter resident Tom Bergeron, who gave us a look at his experience with the program.
I think it's a great program. I'd highly recommend going forward with it. It's a bunch of things. There's the energy and cost savings. It's a great program to be part of the community, get some savings, pretty cost effective to do, and highly recommend being part of the program.
The inserts will be assembled between January 15th and the 22nd, just in time for a cozy winter. Sign up for your inserts at windowdressers.org or email windowdressers@exeternh.gov with questions. If you're seeing this from outside the SAU 16 system and would want to see a Window Dressers program in your town, you can reach out to the Window Dressers through their website and request a build in your community.
The Tax Exemption and Credit Advisory Committee met last month to revisit a discussion relating to whether or not the town should adopt the All Veterans Tax Credit. Dan Monchek has this recap from our Meeting Minute series.
This is your Meeting Minute for the September 24th Tax Exemption Advisory Committee meeting. The big discussion item on this agenda surrounded veterans tax credits. There were two credits being discussed: the optional veterans credit for $500 that the town currently offers, and a new all veterans tax credit also for $500. The main difference between these credits is that the optional credit requires a veteran to have served in a qualifying war or armed conflict to be able to receive it, while the all veterans credit would remove that stipulation. All veterans would qualify regardless of when or where they served. In a previous meeting, the committee voted to not recommend adopting the all veterans tax credit, but after receiving feedback from the public, they decided to open this topic back up for discussion. One member of the committee, Mark Furlong, conducted research and compiled data relating to these tax credits.
And I think I had mentioned it in our previous discussions that I looked at the numbers. Now I actually analyzed it, reduced it a little bit.
Through his research, he found that 92% of towns in Rockingham County have already adopted the All Veterans Tax Credit, making Exeter one of only 3 outliers in the county. Based on trends statewide and within Rockingham County, Mr. Furlong estimated that 56 to 60 Exeter residents would utilize this credit, which would cost around $28,000.
Again, when we first started meeting, that's been the question. Well, what if we adopted it? What is the impact of that? And I think that it's not going to drive the number really high.
Mr. Furlong went on to speak about the optional Veterans Tax Credit, which sparked conversation among the committee.
I think the law is bad. I think it is creating classes of veterans when we shouldn't be.
Nope. Anybody across the board who's ever stepped up to serve in our military is a vital part of our well-being.
I hold the people who fight in a conflict on a different level. I don't put them all in the same classification, but that's the era I'm from. And I feel that those people who were the first to go, who were the first to sign up to go to Iraq, or first to sign up to go to Kuwait, people that are basically, they're always boots on the ground, you know, they're special people. Should it be out for a vote? Yeah, probably should be out for a vote.
I think the fact that it's been raised up and it's in front of us and we have the figures showing that we're one of 3 outliers, I don't think it would harm us to make the recommendation and see what the select board wants to do with it.
I agree the voters should decide, but at the same time, I also want to state the fact that I agree that there should be something extra for those that actually went to combat.
Yep.
The committee opened the floor to the public, where Exeter resident Keith Whitehouse voiced his opinion.
There are 10,000 different stories. The war on drugs. People would drop into the Colombian jungle, wipe out a cocaine manufacturing plant. You think that's on your service record? Hint, no. There's 10,000 examples. If you have all night, I'll go on. I talked to a guy who came down here and asked for the credit and was told no. I asked him how he felt about that. He said, terrible. He'd served 4 years and got an honorable discharge. And then I thought about the person that actually had to tell him no. How did that person feel?
Right.
So I thought about those things and I thought, maybe we can correct this, or at least get it to the voters to see what they say.
I think it would be a much more powerful thing to recommend this to the Board of Selectmen and say that we really wrestled with this. We had very mixed feelings about it. And let them decide whether it should go to the voters or not. And ultimately let the voters decide what's the right thing to do on this issue.
The board unanimously voted to recommend the All Veterans Tax Credit to the Select Board, where they decide whether or not this credit will be included in the ballot at town elections. The next Tax Exemption Advisory Committee meeting will be held on October 15th in the Wheelwright Room. See you there.
The American Cancer Society is hosting their annual walk later this month. We spoke to the race organizers to learn more about the cause behind this important event.
With October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the group at Making Strides Against Breast Cancer of Exeter are getting ready for their annual walk to fight breast cancer.
We have been around here in New Hampshire and Exeter for over 25 years. It is a short walk, 3 miles through downtown Exeter, and it is a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society.
The walk is about more than just fundraising. It gives people that have been affected by cancer a place where they can find community.
Another reason this is so important is really just to bring together folks that are maybe going through breast cancer right now and don't know that there are so many other people, unfortunately, that are going through this as well. And it gives them the opportunity to just see people that have fought and beat this, or learn from others, hear some of their struggles. The volunteer committee itself is made up of women that have been a part of this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Many of them either know somebody who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, unfortunately passed from the disease, or they're survivors themselves that put on this walk here.
The group has a goal of raising $145,000 for the American Cancer Society. These funds will be used for life-saving cancer research and provide programs for people fighting breast cancer.
Not only is the American Cancer Society the largest nonprofit investor in cancer research, they also provide support to their community, such as through free rides to chemo for cancer patients, and other things like their Hope Lodge, which provides lodging to folks going through cancer treatment.
This year's walk takes place on Sunday, October 19th at the Lincoln Street School. Registration for the event begins at 9 a.m. Ceremonies begin at 10, and the walk itself gets started at 11. For more information about this event, or to register ahead of time, you can visit makingstrideswalk.org/Exeter to learn more.
There's always a lot going on at Parks and Rec, and last week was no different. The department held a Talent Tuesday event, giving residents a chance to meet neighborhood raptors. We sent our camera crew down to see for ourselves.
One of the benefits of an active Parks and Recreation program is the ability to try out new experiences you often otherwise wouldn't be able to. In this particular scenario, Parks and Rec hosted Talent Tuesday on September 30th, partnering with Tailwinds Raptor Education and Conservation, giving a live demonstration on several unreleasable raptor birds. We were first introduced to Phoenix the red-tailed hawk, who, while having some hiccups in cognitive function, is still just as beautiful as a bird can be. Up next was the newest member to the group, the great horned owl.
So his name is Tim. He came from. He chirps. Hopefully he's gonna hoop. There we go.
He had only joined the sanctuary 2 weeks prior, and Exeter had the opportunity to be his first go at a public showing, as comfortable or uncomfortable as he may have been.
So it does require quite a bit of work for him to stay on the glove.
And finally was Greta the turkey vulture, who did not hesitate to show himself off to the crowd. With a massive display of his giant wings, a close-up look at Greta showed how fascinating of an animal he truly was, even with details as simple as being able to see straight through his nose.
Why not?
I think this one knows her name. We had this point, like,
Yeah. We had roadkill cupcakes.
It was truly a fascinating day for Exeter residents getting so close and personal with such majestic creatures. And thanks to Parks and Rec's proactiveness with events for all townsfolk, events such as these become a common find for people around town. If you're interested in seeing more events from Parks and Rec, you can keep up with them through the town website at exeternh.gov/recreation.
The Select Board received a presentation on the proposed 2026 budget and discussed other items at their meeting on September 29th. Gabe Perez has this recap from our Meeting Minute series.
This is your Meeting Minute for the Select Board September 29th meeting. A Phillips Exeter politics class attended the meeting, filling up the room to its absolute limit. The meeting began with public comment, introducing Silas Richards, who expressed concern regarding the Complete Streets implementation, approved to the master plan in 2018.
Our new bicycle and pedestrian master plan, shaped by over 800 community survey responses, makes clear that residents overwhelmingly want safer and more connected infrastructure. Exeter cannot afford to keep deferring action. Every major roadway project is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create a safer, more equitable street for all Exeter users.
Very well said. There was a warrant article in the last election. I cannot promise that this will be on the next agenda.
Okay.
But we can, before the end of the year, bring an update as to where we are with that.
With public comments closed, Nico invited the students from PEA to ask any questions to the Select Board.
How would you reflect on nonpartisan action in the Select Board compared to partisan action in the State House?
the House is divided. People don't want to talk to each other, and a particular group is strong-arming the rest of their party. So it's even harder. I have friends that I know would vote with me, but in the end they don't. The difference here is that we do talk to each other and we do argue and come to a consensus typically.
Then, the chair invited the Exeter Tree Committee to give an update on the town's tree inventory. Town Sustainability Planner Kristen Murphy spoke highly on the current state of Exeter's tree life and the importance of tracking trees.
So let me just talk a little bit about the dashboard that we now have. This lives on our website. This dashboard has what percentage of our trees are in good condition, what percent are poor or dying or have maintenance needs. So 54% of our trees are good currently. That's kind of scary. It tells you that we need to be paying a bit more attention to our street trees. This can help us plan where to plant new trees.
Next, interim town manager Melissa Roy approached the board in order to give the first update for the proposed first draft of the 2026 town budget, which marks a very difficult year for many parts of the town's many departments, with major increases in the town's debt service, collective bargaining agreements, and reserve for insurances, totaling a 12% total budget increase respectively. The town departments were tasked with maintaining a similar or lower total budget to prior years in order to help counterbalance these major increases.
This year, our general fund for FY26 is being proposed at $27,547,562, which is an increase of 12.64% over FY25. When we're talking about our tax rate, the municipal portion of that is about 23% of what you pay in your taxes. So what are the major general fund budget drivers for FY26? So number one, our debt service, police and fire substation that was approved last year. That bond is $1,664,479. We have our Linden Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project for $175,715, and our Public Works Fuel Island, which was $137,158. These increases to our general fund represent 53% of the increase for this year. Last year, we renegotiated successfully 3 union contracts. Those increases represent about 17% of the increase for this year. We are continuing to have a hard time finding frontline staff in DPW, police, and fire. The third major driver for FY26 would be our reserve for insurances. The decision was made to put in a 20% reserve so that we weren't caught blindsided. Unfortunately, that's 20%, and that's pretty significant. So again, this is another 17% of the overall increase for 26. The 12.64% increase looks pretty daunting, but when we put in the request for all of our departments, you'll see that almost all of our departments were either under budget or level funded or right around what they came in last year.
This is not exclusive to Exeter. First of all, just to retain the staff that we have and not have to cut services to the public is a major goal of mine. This number is shocking when you first see it. But when you peel back that onion, these are all things that, I think we as a board are incredibly appreciative of the support that the voters have given us over the past couple years, because this is not a new song we're singing. We've talked about the increased expense in healthcare, which is driving up these health insurance. And I think 20%, when I look at some other communities in neighboring states, it's going to be even more. But for now, we have to make sure that our town functions and that we keep and retain our valuable staff.
From there, Melissa went over the general fund bond articles for the year, with most notable being the return of the street sweeper, the only article from last year that did not pass.
I'd like to do some clarifying. The reason that the street sweeper is important is we have a permit that we need to keep our outtake into the river and our nitrogen reduction. And what it does is by pulling up the debris and leaves and everything and not letting it go into our stormwater or into our water treatment, it reduces the amount of nitrogen into our program. So in summary, we know this is a challenging year, and we've put forth a budget that is true to what our taxpayers have supported at the ballot. If all of the warrant articles that we just discussed that were coming from taxation were to be approved, we would add an additional $426,988,000 for a total general fund budget of $27,974,550. if everything were improved for the warrant, would be a 13.55% increase.
To see a more in-depth discussion regarding the proposed budget, you can head over to the October 1st Budget Recommendations Committee meeting, where Melissa presented the proposed budget as well. The next meeting will be on October 14th. See you there.
In an effort to boost outreach to the community, the SAU 16 School District has launched several new initiatives. Working with our friends at education channel Blue Hawk Media, they've launched a new short video series with the superintendent called 60 and 16. The series explores all the great things happening across the school system. In this week's edition, they traveled to East Kingston Elementary School.
Good morning, SAU 16. This is Superintendent Chris Andriski with SAU 16 Spotlight School, East Kingston Elementary School for 60 and 16. Let's take a walk inside, see if we can find Principal French. Hello, Principal French. Thanks for having us at East Kingston Elementary School. Can you please tell us about all the amazing things that are happening here?
Sure. Over the last 5 years, academically, we've seen a wonderful, steady rise in our state assessments, and we have surpassed where we were pre-COVID, so we're really excited about that. It's been because of a dedicated staff, a wonderful group of hardworking students, and a really supportive family atmosphere we have here.
Principal French, we're joined by some amazing friends. Can you tell us what we are about to witness?
Yes. So this group of students here, they are now currently second and third graders, but as first and second grade students, they were the kickstart to our fundraising efforts for our outdoor classroom. These students, along with their teachers in the back, created a maker's market where they made and sold goods to our East Kingston town, and they had a number of community vendors here along with them to help fundraise for our outdoor classroom. We are so excited about this effort. It's been a long time in the making. We also have some community members that we want to thank for helping us get this started. Our EKS PTO. We had 2 companies donate wood chips, Doug's Tree Service and Noel's Tree Service. We also had a number of families donate to our Kingfisher benches that are going to be out in the outdoor classroom. We are currently working with Seco School of Technology to make a beautiful outdoor whiteboard for us. So we want to thank everyone involved, especially these kids here, for making our Makers Market and getting the ball started with our outdoor classroom. Congratulations. Excellent. And we want to end our time here with saying to our SAU, 1, 2, 3, have a great weekend, SAU 16.
Another initiative from the SAU is their new SAU 16 community group through Parent Square that lets community members stay informed about important school news even if you don't have students in the system. You can sign up to get updates sent straight to your inbox. For more information on how to sign up, check out the description of this video. For our last segment, we sent Gabe to the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival while Dan and I had the weekend off so that he could report back to us on who had the best chili. Here's a snippet from his report.
The Exeter Beer and Chili Fest was back in full swing. With hundreds of people lining outside of Swayze Parkway, there was no lack of excitement as I entered into the gates of delicious chili heaven. Since I can't drink on the job, my mission was simple. With 11 different chili vendors this year, I needed to find and eat every cup and see who wins best chili of the year. Of course, 11 cups of chili is no easy feat, and in order to complete this Herculean task, I needed the help of a chili connoisseur such as myself, my sister, Lisette.
Good morning, Exeter. It is the Beer and Chili Fest, and today I have been told that we have 11 different chili vendors that we're going to be trying today. Of course, I can't be the only one taking care of it, so today I have brought my sister, Lisette, to help me rate and review all of these delicious chilies at the Beer and Chili Fest. Lisette, what do you think?
I really want some chili.
Off to the races. This year, all the chili vendors were lined in a row across the river. The first stand to greet us was Rail Penny Tavern.
Cheers to cups.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is Rail Penny Tavern.
Has some heat.
Is it like sweet to you?
It's sweet, but there's heat to it that like almost balances it out.
Counteract, yeah. I agree. This is Stone Face.
Yeah, she said it's their first time.
Very cool.
This is the brisket chili.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I can eat an entire vat of this. This is delicious.
No notes.
Perfect.
Holy moly.
We're
So
going in blind.
This is Holy Grail.
That's sweet.
It's very sweet.
Very good though. No, it's fine. Just walk right in front of cameras.
That does it for this week's report. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us spread the word. And head over to the town website and subscribe to the town's email newsletter to get this show and other local news sent straight to your inbox. We'll be back on October 24th for the next edition of the show. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this has been the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a great weekend, Exeter. That was the Exeter Biweekly Report, but now it's time for the Bob Glowacki Show, where I can do whatever I want because I'm the coolest. Oh yeah. How about that, Dan? Am I right? And that Gabe? Yeah, and everybody have fun. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you. See y'all next week. Catch you later.
Welcome back to the October 14, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. As it's 7 o'clock, we will now call the regular business meeting to order. The board met in non-public from 5:30 to 6:30, and then conducted 3 board interviews downstairs in the wheelwright room. So now we're ready to start a regular business meeting. I'll begin by introducing the board. To my right, Selectman Dan Chartrand, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Our Vice Chair, Selectwoman Molly Cowan, good evening.
Hi, everyone.
To my left, our Clerk, Selectwoman Nancy Belanger, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have Selectwoman Julie Gilman, good evening.
Hello, all.
Our Interim Town Manager to my right, Melissa Roy.
Good evening.
My name is Nico Papakosendis, and our Recording Secretary will be recording it via video this evening. So good evening to respective town staff, those in attendance, and those at home watching. We will start with public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to come forward with any comments for the board. We do ask if your comments are relative to an agenda item that you wait until that agenda item comes up. But I'll open it up now. Please state your name and address for the record. For anyone that would like to speak. Let's see if there's anyone online. Okay, close public comment. Next, I'd ask the board if there are any amendments or revisions to the regular meeting minutes of September 29th, 2025.
I have none.
Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion then to accept the Town of Exeter Select Board regular meeting minutes of September 29th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. We have 3 appointments this evening, 2 for the Train Committee, 1 for the Energy Committee. I would entertain a motion to appoint Don Brizzleton to the Train Committee for a 3-year term to expire April 2028.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I would entertain a motion to appoint Jonathan Ring to the Train Committee for a term of 2 years to expire April 2027.
I'll make that motion as well.
And I will second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. And then finally, I would entertain a motion to appoint Nicholas Metz to the Energy Committee. There are no terms.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. We thank Don, Nicholas, and Jonathan for volunteering their service to the respective committees. We'll dive right into the discussion items this evening. We have first the 250 Celebration Commission budget request. Is there anyone here to speak to that?
Karen is supposed to be here.
Okay.
I can either start, or Julie can start, or we can wait.
Are we expecting Karen?
We were, yeah.
Okay. Why don't we
Want to.
table this?
Oh,
until-
Oh, that door.
It didn't get locked. Thank you. Do you have the key?
Do you have your key?
I have mine.
I think you have this.
The door locked at 7.
Oh, hopefully that's Karen.
Yeah.
Sounded like Karen.
For sure.
Assistant.
If it's not Karen, we can jump forward to your stuff, and then we can circle back to Karen.
Corey's the key.
Yep, Karen.
There she is. We're ready when you are. But if you do you need you want a few minutes? Did you want to speak to the budget request? Okay.
Okay.
Why don't
We moved quickly.
Mr. Chair, why don't we give
We can do that.
Karen a moment to catch her breath and go to the next item,
We can
and then
do
we
that.
can look back.
We'll go to the next 3 real quick. Catch your breath. Okay. We have with us Deputy Fire Chief Jason Fritz this evening with 3 requests. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So the E911 Committee, have 3 items for you this evening.
The first was kind of a cleanup of an address. You have in front of you 162 and 164 Charter Street, and then 162 and 164 Front Street, and 1 Charter Street. You should have maps associated with that. So looking for a motion to approve those changes, and there is a voluntary change of address filled out by the building owner on that one.
So the change you're looking for, just to be clear, is you want approval to make the left apartment 162 Front Street, the right apartment 164 Front Street,
Correct.
and then 1 Charter Street to be divided into one charter apartment A, 1 apartment B, and 1 apartment C?
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and
just to be clear, these are all in the same building, correct?
tax map
They are.
73108, correct?
They are.
Okay. Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept the E911 Committee's request for a voluntary address change to tax map 73108 in the following manner. The left apartment on the Front Street side would be 162 Front Street. The right apartment on the Front Street side would be 164 Front Street. And then 1 Charter Street would be split up to 1 Charter Street Apartment A, 1 Charter Street Apartment B, and 1 Charter Street Apartment C.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, the next item will be a new private way. It's the 112 Front Street project. The new buildings that will be constructed that are right on Front Street will remain 112 Front Street. The buildings behind it will be numbered from Carnegie as a new street, new private way, Carnegie Way. And again, you should all have the maps to illustrate.
How did the name Carnegie come up?
Typically, when we have a request for a new private way, we address the developer to come up with them, and if there's landowners that are involved, they give us 3 names. We have to vet the names to make sure that there aren't similar or like names in both Brentwood and Kensington.
Yeah.
And as long as that all passes and it passes the muster with the state guidelines, and we allow it.
Because I'll be asked why it's not Merrill Street or Merrill Way.
Julie, was Nancy's middle name Carnegie?
Carnegie, yeah.
Yeah,
Her maiden name.
her maiden name, yeah, so.
But I don't know if everybody knew that.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with this, I just.
yeah,
more
no, I
people-
think it's a nice way to honor Nancy. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm just going to get the question, that's why I wanted to know.
So that was her maiden name, not her middle name?
Yeah.
That's what I was led to believe.
Yeah, that's great.
I didn't know the story behind that either. Was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Door.
Deputy Chief, do you have the map and lot number?
I don't have that with me, but I will
Okay.
get that.
It's 112 Front Street, the new housing development?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it on here?
I didn't see
No,
it.
it's not here.
Not on the map.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if it's, oh, I couldn't read that if my life, even with glasses, I couldn't read that.
That's tax map,
You can,
something.
okay.
71, lot something, I don't know.
Tax map,
I can look it up real quick.
yeah, I can't, I'm not
I'd
gonna
be more
guess
comfortable making the motion with the,
without it.
with the map. if
Yeah,
we
look-
Yeah.
if
I'll
we
look it
have-
up real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, please, thank you.
So why don't you do the other one?
Can we table this and then go to the next one and then come back to this one?
We can do,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a suggestion.
I'll need the same information on the next road as
Oh,
well.
no
Okay.
mind. While you're in there.
While I'm in there, yeah.
do you want to present the next one?
Sure. The final item that we had was another new private way. This would be the housing project that's off of Haven Lane. It was associated with the Portsmouth Ave project next to the Thirsty Moose, but they've separated those two So the new private way is going to be Driftwood Circle, and again, the corresponding housing numbers is on the map.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by they separated the two?
We're taking care of this one first because this is the first part of the project that's being
Okay, thank
completed.
you.
As opposed to trying to do all of it at the same time.
No, that's fine. It's just that they did go to the ZBA, so I just want to make sure we.
Maybe I misspoke.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm good.
Do you need these tonight approved?
If I can, and I can do the
Okay.
research while,
Yeah, it was pretty
and
close.
get those tax maps.
Because you've presented these, and we've heard it, under permits and approvals, if you can, you don't have to stick around, but if you, unless anybody has any questions, if you can get the map and lot number to us, then we can take this up later in the meeting.
She's got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Which one do you have first?
112 Front Street
Okay.
is map 73, lot 14.
Okay.
And
And let me find it.
Then while you look that up, I would entertain a motion to accept the E911 Committee's recommendation to name the new housing development located at map 73, lot 14, to be called Carnegie Way.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Okay, trying to find Haven Lane. Haven, there it is.
There you go.
All right, so it's the big one that is facing Portsmouth Ave?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
This one?
yes.
Okay, that's map 65, lot 118.
118?
Yep.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept the E911 Committee's recommendation to name the new private way at map 65, lot 118, Driftwood Circle.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Deputy Chief.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gilman. Appreciate it.
I know my way around those maps.
You do.
Are you ready? All right. We have the chair of the
Co-chair.
250, co-chair of the 250 Celebration Commission, Karen Pryor, with us this evening. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So you have before you our proposed budget for the 250 Celebration Commission. We have worked really hard, and thank you to Melissa Roy for collaborating with us on developing this budget. We are really at a place now where we've tightened it up quite a bit. I think you saw a preliminary budget that was almost double this amount. And when we looked at both budget line items that already lived in Park and Rec, and also in scaling back many of our plans to be more inclusive as opposed to exclusive. And I'll give you an example of that. We had originally thought we would want to have a big fancy clam bake, and it would have been very expensive, and it would have been expensive per ticket as well for folks. And we decided, no, that's not appropriate for this community. We want to include all and not exclude any. So our budget now has been pared down to about $26,000, and we were asking for your support and approval of that. These funds will come from the current fund balance, will be funded from the fund balance, and then will have no taxpayer impact whatsoever in support of the America 250 celebration. And we also will be doing, our intent is to do some fundraising on our own to help offset that, but we don't want to make a commitment to a certain dollar amount. We already have some organizations and individuals who have stepped up. But again, we don't know what that dollar amount will be. We've also applied for some grant funding. So we would ask that you would support the entire budget request, and then whatever we receive in would help offset that.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions?
For right now, I'm more comfortable letting the BRC review this as part of our budget process. And I'd kind of like to see a fundraising plan at some point, because I don't think I'm comfortable taking money out of that pot for this, so.
So this would be a proposed warrant article?
Yes, please, and it would have no tax impact. Again, we've cut it by about 50%, and everything we're doing is all volunteer-based.
Yep.
And we are working, I had 3 meetings back-to-back today. We're working with the SAU. We've come up with a wonderful theme, actually. Our theme, which we haven't shared broadly yet, but it's our declaration, our town, our stories. And so that's what's going to go out. We met today, for example, with the Director of Curriculum Development throughout SAU 16, and the collaborations are already unfolding. We also have met with the folks at Rains Farm, Conservation Commission. So we're really trying to do something really special, but on a very tight budget.
So I actually watched your last meeting over the weekend on
thank
TV.
you.
And it was interesting. And it was nice to hear the discussion back and forth. So when you bring up the claim, like you vetted all these ideas and you determined, no, it's not quite what would be appropriate now for the town. So I thought it was very thoughtful, and I really got a lot out of watching it. If this is going to be a warrant article, for the sake of consistency, I'm going to agree with Selectwoman Belanger that it go to the BRC, because we have other committees and commissions who also have warrant articles, and they're doing the same. And it ultimately is going to come back to the Select Board anyway in December. With the BRC's recommendations, the board then vets the budget for about a month or so, and then we have the budget hearing in January. And from there, that's when we make the recommendations for the warrant articles. So I don't have an opinion one way or the other than I think the fair thing to do is where we have other committees that are requesting warrant articles, that we remain consistent. And Melissa, I task you to find a way to get this to the BRC.
Absolutely. The chair had asked once it got finalized that we send it along. So we wanted to start here and like we would do in any of the other committees.
No, and I have absolute respect for that. So that's fine.
And you've done the committee's done a lot of great work. And I think all of us like to remain consistent with how we, with procedures.
I think that's a respectful decision, and I think it would be unfortunate if it was any other way. But we wanted to put this out to you to let you know what our thinking is.
I'm glad you're here tonight, and I'm glad we can move forward with this. And it's going to come back to the board anyway for a recommendation before the ballot.
Fine.
So I just think that'd be the fair thing to do.
No, and we're totally excited, and the group is growing.
Good.
And it's a really impressive group of people that are participating. So
it is.
The only thing I'd like to say in summary is we were also really thoughtful about this budget, given everything that's coming up in the upcoming, calendar year for the fiscal request.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
So that's what we're trying to be mindful of and respectful of.
And we appreciate that.
Yep.
And knowing that you're also going to be doing the fundraising,
Yes.
and I know firsthand that you're incredibly good at that. So I have faith in you.
Not as good as I used to be.
I have faith.
Just a quick question, Mr. Chair. Of
course.
So that's not going to get approved by the voters once it goes through all that process, assuming it clears all the hurdles until March. Would that impact your planning at all? Or
I don't think so,
Okay.
because fortunately, we have the $5,000 that was already budgeted for this. And so much of what we're doing is preliminary. We do have a kickoff event in January, which is being really sponsored by the American Independence Museum. One of the line items in our budget is the $5,000. Is a $5,000 request for them to make the upcoming American Independence Festival much more significant than it's been in the past. But that's a 1-year request. But no, we're very much still in the planning process, and so no, I don't think that will have an impact.
And the request, if I understood correctly, was for a warrant article anyway, so it's not,
Correct.
We're not really holding it from.
Right.
Okay.
I was just wondering about the timing.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Any other questions?
Can I just follow up with, I had 3, just for clarification so the public understands where we're going if they look at this. It says staff overtime for 1,200. Who's that for? It's on
I
page
believe
1.
that's police and fire coverage.
No, it says police detail is 600. And then at the bottom of that same, do you have it? I can give you mine if you need it. You know what, it's okay. The budget, you'll know it
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
BRC.
Right.
That's going to be,
Right, the real big thing, I think that might end up being somewhat controversial, and I'll be honest, is the intern. But I think it's critically important. What Park and Rec is bringing to the table is tremendous. And many of the items that are already, that was a lot of things that we pulled out of the budget because, for example, the Blackhawk event, right? They already do that. But now we want to up the ante, right? We want to celebrate the 250. So there's some extra funds in there. We're also only a group of 7. And so, one of the big things with the Park and Rec intern, the additional one for 1 year, is also to make sure that we can coordinate volunteerism in a proper way. So, again, we're trying to be as extremely frugal and thoughtful in how we put this out there, but we also want to make, Exeter's the Revolutionary War Center, folks.
Yeah.
What can I say about that?
So the intern you'll be looking
Coordinate
for
all the
somebody
volunteers.
pretty soon for that, vetting someone or putting an
Park and Rec
announcement
does that
out?
every
Oh, okay.
year, so they already
This will be a
have.
second one, okay. And then Memories Ice Cream, it says, there's a notation.
Okay.
It says, get cost for Casey to come with ice cream truck, and then there's an amount for the ice cream truck.
Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a contest to have Memories design, have people put in a design or whatever, a formula, whatever, a name for an ice cream for the 250.
Oh, okay, that I could not
So, yeah,
understand if you
yeah.
had an amount and there was a note that should have come out, or?
No.
Okay.
What we want to do is let
So
folks
that 300.
creatively come up with a name
That
of
is a
an
great
ice cream.
idea.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, that was it for me,
I
thank
can
you.
answer the overtime question if you.
Oh,
will.
yes,
thank you,
please.
Melissa.
That's okay, no problem. So the first one you mentioned was police detail, and I believe that was for our kickoff event, which is where the Blackhawk, and then we would be inviting the New Hampshire dignitaries or delegation. And oftentimes with a large crowd like that, we would want to make sure that there was a police detail.
So the 600 for the police detail, then there's another 1,200.
Yep, and so then
Okay.
the 1,200 is, we had the idea of, I believe this is with the community picnic with doing, or one of the events is Touch a Truck. In order to do that, we would need to have, it wouldn't be during staff hours, so Steve Dalton, you're hearing about this for the first time because you haven't mentioned it yet. But we're talking about getting a few DPW trucks down there, like a police truck, a fire truck, as part of a community event. But in order to have those operators there, it's not during their normal work time. So we need to make sure that the operators and the kids are safe. So that's what that would be for. Like Karen said, there would maybe some fundraising, so maybe that wouldn't be tax or wouldn't be fund balance. It just depends on where they stand with fundraising.
So can I make a suggestion for BRC to maybe put a little notation next to the overtime, like what you just said?
Absolutely.
DPW, police and
I will work with Caroline, and we will make some additional note sections for you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Anything else? Thank you, Karen.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Sorry
Okay.
we locked you out. It was not intentional.
Never.
When Tuesday night and the town clerk's open till 7, it automatically locks. So usually I'm on that and I forgot.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, next we move into permits and approvals, and Mr. Dalton, if you would, please. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm coming tonight to ask for $249,018.50 for the Clemson Pond project. This is part of the contract that we already approved with Wright Pierce back in August. This is the first step of actually going in, preparing everything in Clemson Pond in order to put cofferdams in and actually inspect the two 36-inch CSO siphon barrels.
Okay. The memo that was in our packet was fairly straightforward. Does the
Yeah.
board have any questions for Mr. Dalton?
So just to be clear, this is coming from excess bond proceeds?
Yes.
Can you explain what that is, please?
I believe that it was, what's that? I'm looking right over it.
Or
That's
can
Yeah,
Cory-
yeah, right. There was another project that there were remaining funds from a few years ago. Do you remember what project that was?
We took some from lagoon cleaning.
Lagoon cleaning, that's exactly what it was, yes. lagoon cleaning back from the SRF funding for the wastewater treatment facility.
Awesome. And this kind of funding is tied to the water and sewer rates, not the tax rate?
Correct.
Thank you.
And the name of the firm is In Situ Form?
In Situ Form.
In Situ Form Technologies? Okay. Are there any other questions for Mr. Dalton? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the proposal from In Situ Form Technologies LLC in the amount of $249,018.50 to perform cleaning and CCTV inspection of the dual 36-inch CSO siphon barrels.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. Have a great
Have
night.
a good night, Steve.
Clemson Pond. We follow these.
Mr. Bisson, step on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
How are you?
A while. I'm doing well. All right.
I'm going to sneeze.
First in our packet, we have...
Sorry, I was going to sneeze. I don't.
Blush you.
If I walk out, it's on you. It's that.
Gesundheit.
For the reason. Thank you.
We are here, one, it's we hate to come to you on this, but as you know, we've been managing the budget at 10 Hampton Road down to the penny. And it was only recently after we had come to you last time for additional funding that we discovered an error in the ADA changing table for 10 Hampton Road. 10 Hampton Road, obviously, it's a very important. We have a universal changing table there. But we've had a number of issues throughout the project that really pushed our budget. And so we are coming here for to ask to expend rec revolving fund and impact fees to purchase said ADA changing table. We have several quotes here, and we have selected the Presalt 1000 adult changing table for $81.82, which we're asking to expend $8,200 from total, $5,200 from the rec revolving fund, and $3,000 from the recreation impact fees for the procurement of this. Again, and one thing I want to note, the 10 Hampton Road, we developed the project for 10 Hampton Road in 2022. So to have this, we're watching our pennies. Unfortunately, this was a miscommunication between us and HDC. So that's on our part. And we're asking for a little assistance to purchase the ADA changing table.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Beeson?
I do. Did we get the adult changing table in, or was it ordered?
It was, the incorrect one was ordered. It wasn't a universal.
So did it come in?
Yeah.
And we can return it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
Thank you.
okay.
You know where
Just
I'm
to
going with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Just to clarify, so the requirement now is powered. So that's what we did in the restroom downtown, and there was miscommunication between us and HDC. They ordered a universal that was not powered. So we know it's really important for our constituents to have a powered one in there, and our hope is to take the one that wasn't powered and put it down at the pool because that is only open for 8 weeks of the year. So we're working on that. We're going to be working with the ADA committee, seeing if that will work, just because it's not a year-round enclosed building, and there's concern about having mechanical equipment exposed to the elements and that kind of thing. So we're trying to make the best of a situation, but
You knew right where I was going with that question. So is it returnable if that doesn't work? We don't know.
I don't know about that, but I think that this is a pretty good place for it, and it would work with what our plans are for down at the pool.
Yeah, we definitely want the electric. I completely
For the building,
understand
absolutely.
that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That was my question.
You're welcome.
And follow-up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Of course. Anybody else? I have one question, Greg. We usually ask this of you halfway through all of your requests.
Yep.
If I understand this correctly, should all of these be approved this evening, there would be a little over $109,000 left in the revolving fund?
I actually have the balances here, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
If all of these are approved as of tonight, the rec revolving fund, the balance because we, obviously this year hasn't been audited, is $118,057.
Okay.
Rec impact fees there'll be a balance of $2,019.
That's after everything
all of
is
this.
approved?
Yep.
Should it be approved this evening?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We always ask that.
We always do. You're right.
And I want to have the numbers for you, knowing
Thank
you were
you.
going to ask. Appreciate it. You're welcome. And
All
thank
right.
you, Mr. Stevens, for providing that to me.
Yes.
Okay, and I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Rec Department to expend an amount not exceeding 8,000, is that five? That's 5,000, right?
$5,200.
$5,200 from the Recreational Revolving Fund and $3,000 from the Recreation Impact Fee for the procurement of an ADA adult changing station, a pre-salt 1,000 adult changing table from Maximum Ability as part of the renovation project at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Now, the exciting request, I say exciting because to us in Parks and Rec, whenever you talk tables and chairs and other things, it's exciting. We're coming to you after seeing the great work that's being done at 10 Hampton Road. We now have to furnish it. We have some limited tables and chairs, but honestly, the tables are used for our Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival, so you can only imagine they're well worn. Let's just say that. So we've had great success in the lifetime products. Obviously, at Town Hall being a perfect example, we have already previously purchased those. So we're looking to purchase chairs. Same thing from Sam's Club, free shipping, which we have a membership to. It is much more cost effective to do it this way because we don't have a large enough vehicle to go pick up all this stuff. So we would have to rent a U-Haul to go pick it up and then spend man hours. So we're looking to purchase 80 chairs total, and that total is $2,500, and that includes free shipping. You want me to just go down, Mr. Chair? and
Please,
we'll
if you
come
would.
back?
Yep.
We also have examined, and this is going to be the great thing when you guys get the tour, is our largest multi-purpose room upstairs. Can fit a variety of different tables. So we want to make it as versatile as possible. So we're looking to purchase some round tables. So if a group wants to use rounds, some rectangular tables, and some seminar tables. We've all been to those seminars, and it will create the functionality that we will have. It can fit right now 72 people theater style, 48 in the rounds, and 48 in the seminar table. So, I mean, it's going to be a great opportunity for any town department to use it for training, any group, a nonprofit that wants to come use it for a meeting, or just having an educational session for our seniors. So I have it listed. We're looking to purchase 6 round tables, 20 rectangular tables, because they'll be up both upstairs and downstairs, because, again, efficiency is possible, and we don't want to steal tables and chairs from one location to another, so we want to make sure it's plenty staffed. And then 8 seminar tables. Next, and you'll see this further on, we're looking to purchase 2 more video monitors for our session room, so we can actually have educational sessions no matter what room. We did a couple years ago have a generous donation from Riverwoods for before the donation policy, a projector for the large room. So we'll have a projector where you can plug in, but in the other rooms, we're going to have televisions where it's plug and play. People can come in and do different events, seminars, programs. Families First has actually generously donated one of those. So we want to pick out the same brand that is available at Walmart. And then also some console tables, units to go in front of it, not only for additional storage, but also protection, because that way no one can bump up directly against the television. So that's another thing. We're looking at signage is a big thing. Obviously, signage and wayfaring to get around the building is very important, and one of the things that we're also looking to do is have ADA signage throughout the building. So I have an example in your packet of what they would look like. There's about approximately 90 signs we would be purchasing. It is crucial because obviously it's staircase in case of fire, room numbers, capacity, janitorial bathrooms, all that. So that is something we're looking to do. That was not in our budget to get that completed, as well as the bathroom accessories. Obviously, we have 4 bathrooms that we need to have toilet papers, paper towels, soap. Proper mirrors, commercial grade mirrors, because obviously we don't want an accident to happen and a mirror being knocked off the wall and shattering. So we're also looking at that. And lastly, our blinds. So the programming rooms are great. They're bright. You can see, but sometimes if you need to dim it a little bit, you're not going to be able to do presentations. So we're looking at blinds as well as in our offices. When you're trying to do computer work and it's glaring, you want to make sure you can dim it a little bit. So we're looking for 36 mini blinds that are cordless. Obviously, with children in the building, we don't want any cords that they can be entrapped in. So that's pretty much all the request. It totals, and that's where the 109, Mr. Chair, was actually something that So
You've corrected it. You've
Yeah.
told us.
Yep.
Everyone good with that? Okay. All right. That's everything?
That's everything.
All right.
I do have questions.
Go ahead, please, yes.
Okay, a few, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
So
on.
the chair dolly that we have at the town hall, would that be usable for these chairs?
That would be too big for
Okay,
this
never
space.
mind.
Yeah, I
That chair
know.
dolly
It
is just
it
gonna
too-
drive me crazy.
Nancy, we did measure it.
Okay,
But
thank you
and
for
I'll give you a
trying.
perfect example. Our big room, if we have a group that uses it for 50, they would have to drag the whole big dolly out that has.
Yeah, I don't want to cause safety issues. That was the thing with you, the carrying the tables and chairs up and down. That's just not something we want to get into.
Before you ask your next question, I want to add on to it.
Sure.
Okay, the chair caddy or dolly or whatever that's in the town hall, does it really work? And do
It does.
something else we could do?
It's a tight fit to get in and out of that door.
I couldn't get it out of there.
Yeah. It does work, but it's not.
So
It's not the right one.
Can we
Yeah.
look at a resale value or something
Yeah,
like
we
that?
can definitely put it out
We
to bid.
thought we were doing that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I-
Before, okay. Okay, so I want to just bring up the furniture that was donated, that you and your team went to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting on some of that, so I just want to make sure everyone at home and here listening to this understands that this request for the furniture, that there was a lot of stuff donated, you've used it, not just furniture, but toilets and things like that, so you have gone above and beyond to take what was offered and go and find a way to get it.
Yeah, we have shelves, credenzas, desks,
Yes,
office chairs.
thank you.
You name it, we have it.
I just want to make sure we're all aware of that or remember it. You have Exeter TV capabilities when you said that with all the numbers of the capacity of people? Is there, if we needed to use that room for a meeting, could we?
So I can answer that a little bit. So we would be able to use it just like we use the library, where if there was a camcorder on a tripod, but it's not going to be set up
for
like this. Yep.
Someday in the future.
And then I will like to add one more thing as everybody hears all these requests, if you don't mind.
Of course.
The rec revolving fund is built up through programming fees that they charge, and they charge a small amount additional to what the actual cost of the program is, and so for their overhead, and they build this fund up. So these are not tax dollars that are being used to pay to furnish this building, just to clarify.
It's good to reiterate things like that as we go. And just one final thing on the ADA signs, which is really important. You're not going to just do, you are not looking to do it, you're going to do it.
We're going to do it.
Thank
yeah.
you.
That's why we need permission to
I
expend the
know,
money.
you said.
I already have it in my
We're
cart,
just looking
waiting
at
to
doing
hit
it, but
purchase.
this is to do it.
Yes.
I'm done, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Beeson. Greg, I have a total of 6 motions here that we'll go through. Excuse me, if you'll bear with me. We'll start with the signage. I'd entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to expend an amount not exceeding $996 from the Recreation Revolving Fund for the purchase of 58 signs from ADA Sign Factory for the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located on 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
So motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to expend an amount not exceeding $9,750 from the Recreation Revolving Fund for the purchase of 80 lifetime chairs, 6 round lifetime tables, and 20 rectangular lifetime tables from Sam's Club, and 8 lifetime seminar tables from Home Depot to furnish the programming spaces at the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to expend an amount not exceeding $696 from the Recreation Revolving Fund for the purchase of 2 Samsung TVs from Walmart for the programming spaces at the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to expend an amount not exceeding $460 from the Recreation Revolving Fund for the purchase of 3 TV consoles from Amazon for the programming spaces at the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to expend an amount not exceeding $1,700 from the Recreation Revolving Fund for the purchase of commercial bathroom mirrors, toilet paper dispenser, soap dispenser, and paper towel dispenser for the bathrooms and programming spaces in the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
So motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. And finally, I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to expend an amount not exceeding $1,200 from the Recreation Revolving Fund for the purchase of cordless blinds for the programming and offices at the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous. I believe you have 2 donation requests to present?
Yes. First is, well, both of them are actually related to 10 Hampton Road, so we'll start with the television purchase, the 65-inch Samsung TV that Families First would like to purchase for the Multi-Generational Community Center. Well, they are purchasing it already, but yeah, we'd like to thank Families First. It's been a long partnership with them for over a decade now, and we look forward to our partnership moving forward as well.
Very generous. Very generous. Any questions or comments?
Other than thank you.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept the donation of a 65-inch Samsung TV from Families First in Portsmouth to be placed in one of the community center programming rooms at the Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center located at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Sorry. Got another.
It's unanimous. You have one more, Greg?
And this one is the last one. I can actually confirm a date. On Thursday, October 16th, Our Hockey and their other associated companies are going to do a day of caring for us. After the paving, obviously, whenever you've had the surface paved, you have some rough edges, and we're going to be cleaning up the site. We're spreading loam, compost from DPW, just to make it look cleaner. We're gonna plant grass seed, but who knows if it'll grow. But it with 2 parks guys to get all that done, it will be impossible. And one of the last things we're going to do is just help clean out 10 Hampton Road. There's a few things that we need to get rid of. So that will also be one of their assignments, and all we have to do is feed them.
They do incredible volunteer work for us. They've done so much.
That's been a great partnership we started 3 years ago with the United Way, and we'll continue to do as much as possible to help assist our 2 staff members.
Just keep feeding them.
Yep.
Feed them all.
Any questions for Mr. Pisa? So the donor is United Way and Bauer Hockey?
Yes.
Okay. And I would entertain a motion to accept the services provided by the United Way and Bauer Hockey as a United Way Day of Caring, including assistance with the landscaping around the 10 Hampton Road property.
Do we have to have a date in there? No?
No.
On October 16th?
October
Okay,
6th.
on October
2025. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Okay, did we do everything?
Quick work tonight.
You're cooking with gas.
So it starts when you start at 5:30.
Town manager's report, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Steve Cronin wanted to pass along a few updates. So we have our Linden Street Roundabout Direct Abutter meeting on November 6th at the library. I will get that time, but I think there's about 5 or 6 direct butters that are going to have a meeting there. He wanted me to pass along the following update regarding West Side Drive. Public Works received authorization from NHDES to award a contract to Grenice and Sons for the construction of the West Side Drive Area Utility Improvement Project. DPW is working with the town manager's office to complete the contract documents and intends to hold a neighborhood informational meeting in the last week of October. Time and location still to be determined. We expect this to start in November, and there is some discussion about potentially working through the winter, but we would need to come back to the select board for that approval because we don't typically allow that. However, we know that this project has taken quite some time, and they're checking references on some other winter projects they've done to see how DPW feels about letting them work over the winter. He also sent an update for the drink water, groundwater source easement. The town and PEA have come to terms on an easement for the new groundwater source of Drinkwater Road. Per RSA 4114A process, the easement has been referred to the Conservation Commission, which Director Cronin is actually at tonight, the Heritage Commission for October 15th, and the Planning Board on October 23rd for consideration and recommendation. The first public hearing with the Select Board is tentatively scheduled for October 27th.
And we need 2 of those, correct?
Correct. Yep. Wanted to thank the Park and Rec team and all of the volunteers that helped create a successful powder keg. That's always a really fun event here in town. It takes a ton of volunteers. It takes Park and Rec, the chamber, everybody. So congrats on a wonderful event. You heard the 10 Hampton Road update. We're starting to get things moved in and signage up, so that's really exciting. The fire department celebrated Fire Prevention Week with a lot of community building involvement with the schools and different things last week, which is very exciting. And then I have a request. When we had a discussion, you guys were gracious enough to talk about employee appreciation days. Nancy asked me a question and said, what about Christmas Eve? And I said, oh, we already have that as a half day. And in my mind, I was thinking those were other employee appreciation days that had been given. They weren't actually holidays. So for your consideration, and if you can't, you can't, you were able to give the staff a half day on the day before Thanksgiving, and I am wondering if you would consider changing that to Christmas Eve, and that was my fault. So it would be to pull back the half day that you gave before Thanksgiving and to do a half day on Christmas Eve. Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but just
So
that was my fault.
The proposed change would keep town offices open all day Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
Correct.
And it would be a half-day Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas.
Correct.
For Employee Appreciation Day. And then, was it the half-day at New Year's?
The 30th?
The 30th.
Yes.
31st,
Yep.
rather.
Excuse me.
Any thoughts?
No, I'm glad we caught it now. I mean.
That was my fault. I
No,
apologize.
it's not that. We can't do both. I mean, what's the cost of doing both?
What's the cost? I don't have the cost. This has been something that since COVID you guys have considered.
Right. I don't know if you want to do more. Okay. I wasn't asking for you to do more. No, sorry. and I understand. I hate to give them We already voted on the Thanksgiving, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with, because I think if probably most people would prefer.
We got a lot, we got a lot of questions because I said, oh, we already have to half day, and then I got it all
No, it's
confused.
fine.
And so we did have a discussion at department heads, and I said that I would ask if it were something you would consider changing.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, same.
And if I had to guess, by way of history, there's probably a little more traffic the day before Thanksgiving than there is around Christmas, in terms of folks coming in for services.
Everybody celebrates something different, so I
Right.
think it all just depends, but this was a request that the staff
Okay.
made of me.
Mhm.
I'm fine switching it.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to, I don't know what to word this.
Do you want me to take a shot at it?
I would entertain a motion to grant employee appreciation days to the staff for a half-day December 24th, a whole day December 26th, and a half-day December 31st.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay.
Thank you, and I apologize for that.
No.
That's the end of my report.
Any other questions for Ms. Roy?
No, but that's really great news about the West Side Drive.
Yes, it is.
Agree.
And thank
You
you
have-
for looking into that.
I think we have maybe some questions.
Do you have a question relative? Can you come up to the mic, Fred? We just need your name and address for the record.
Fred Bird, 84 Kingston Road. I don't have a question on this, but you passed over number 8, item number 8.
We don't have any
Number 8 was for
tax abatement?
tax abatements and veterans credits.
We don't have any to take up this evening.
I did. So I should have said that at the beginning then. No, I'm not part of the committee. I had something to say.
Oh, you want to talk about what the committee is discussing? Yeah, that line item is for applications for us to approve
I thought it
or
was-
not approve.
If
Sorry.
you have a quick thought, come on up. Come on up.
Yeah, because
Come-
the next
come on up.
meeting's tomorrow night, so give me what you got.
That would have been public comment, but we're
Make
ahead
it
of
a-
schedule,
yeah.
I
so
appreciate it.
go ahead.
I read it wrong.
That's okay.
Okay, so Fred Bird, 84 Kingston Road. I'd just like to take up about 5 minutes of your time. Good evening, Board of Selectmen. I am here tonight to speak about the veterans deduction and perhaps provide a little information. It appears to me that the Tax Exempt Advisory Committee has one member that collected New Hampshire state info about veterans offline at their last meeting. 2 members seem to have little knowledge of the military. One member had a draft number for Vietnam, or he was drafted. And at 3 of the meetings, he said that as a contractor, he couldn't get a discount on building products, but veterans could. And one member has a family member who receives military benefits. So after 4 meetings I watched, no one seemed to have researched or had facts of the military. It appeared to me that they voted 2 times on what I feel is elected information. They all seem to be under the impression that troops get a lifetime of benefits. This is not true. Different years receive different benefits. If you serve for 4 years, or 6 years, or 8 years, and you're not retired with 20 years, you receive, if you request it from the U.S. government, a grave plot in the National Cemetery and a grave marker. That's it. There aren't any other benefits. That committee really thinks that people get all these wonderful gifts. From the website war.gov, only 1% of the U.S. population served their country. That's combined active duty, guard, and reserve. At USAF military, only 20% reach their full retirement and receive a check each month. That means 80% of the vets you see walking around don't receive anything but a grave marker and a plot if they choose. I'm going to be buried in Newmarket at the Catholic Cemetery. So I'd like to thank just a few veterans. My son, who served from 1999 to 2005 in the United States Air Force for 6 years, he's a combat vet from Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. He also served in Pakistan, Tajikistan, Kuwait, and Langley Air Force Base. My dad was in the United States Reserves. His father was in the Army for 12 years in Panama. Two of my great uncles, Chester and Charles, both were POWs, marched to Bataan, the death march in the Philippines, and both lived. My great uncle Bob was a World War II vet in Normandy. My great uncle Frederick was a tank commander in Korea. My wife's great uncle Jack was shot in the stomach and lived in Italy in World War II. My wife's grandfather Lawrence was in the Navy World War I. My cousin's wife Ira Rollins, whose name is engraved on the Civil War monument in Alton Bay, walked from Alton Bay at 34 to Virginia, fought 3 years, and walked back to New Hampshire. I could continue. We have many, many cousins who have served of all branches and all actions of the United States of America. My family is the 1%. We are one family of the 1% that serves America during peace, and in war. In my case, I enlisted 3 years after Vietnam had ended. That would be 1975 when it ended. I was 18 years old. I was honorably discharged, which was 3 years and 9 months before the start of Desert Storm, which was in January '91. The timing of my service had to do with when I was born in the world of politics. I served because my family served, not for education, not for housing, not for benefits, as someone on the Tax Exempt Advisory Committee declared on television. I'm only here to speak to clear up the fact that peacetime vets could be deployed at any moment's notice. It's not the stock market. You can't play the odds. It happens or it doesn't. I served 5 years stateside, 4 years in West Germany from '93 to '87. I was an E5 staff sergeant with my wife and 2 kids. That's my wife, 46 years.
Mm-hmm.
We never took leave to the States. 4 airline tickets were out of my reach. I didn't tell you all this. Look, 2 veterans have been here to see you. Keith was one, and myself.
Yep.
We've spoken to the board now. Other veterans probably will not come forward. We did not serve to get breaks later in our life. We do not ask for tax breaks. We serve because we want to. And that was not the impression that advisory board was talking about. I suppose I could speak for other veterans when I say that we are grateful to our communities. I thank New Hampshire for recognizing her veterans. I especially thank Exeter for thanking me. It's a gift. It's a gratuity, and I am very grateful for the tax deduction. If you would like to show your appreciation with this act, I'm sure every veteran in town would appreciate the gesture. If it's not possible, remember, we're not expecting it. We didn't plan to be rewarded. We are grateful for the gesture and to be recognized by our state and our town of Exeter. Remember, 80% actually receive no military benefits. But like you, we receive those provided by the Bill of Rights, the U.S. Constitution. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, Fred, thank you for coming this evening. Thank you for speaking to us and sharing your story, your family's story. And I know this is difficult, but I appreciate that you've waited here, and I'm glad you spoke up so that we were able to hear you this evening. You are the second person to come forward.
Right.
We had another public comment several weeks ago. And I'm going to ask Selectwoman Gilman if she has a couple of words in a moment, because she's the select board rep to the committee. I've seen a couple of the meetings, but admittedly, I've not seen all of them.
I've watched 4 of them. You really should let them know that they are on public television.
That it's duly noted. The committee was put together by the select board to look at what we should be doing, if we should be doing anything. It certainly was not our intention to put together a committee to offer personal comment on what makes a veteran, or a senior, or anything like that. That's not the intention. And we can watch the meetings and look at that. But the intention of this board was to see what, if anything, we should be doing. They are an advisory committee, and we expect by the end of the year they're going to come and make proposal to the board, but ultimately, it's up to the board to put together a warrant article for the voters to decide. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry the comments were made that were offensive. And though I have not heard them all firsthand, I've heard enough and had enough folks email and come to the board that offensive comments are made, I'm sure unintentionally, but
They're not self-aware of the
but they're offensive nonetheless. So I want you to understand, like we explained to Mr. Whitehouse when he came for public comment, the board will take under advisement what this committee proposes, but ultimately, it's this board that's going to make the recommendation to the voters.
And you will have that opportunity because basically they're in disarray and they're going to pass it back to you. That was their comment yesterday.
So,
That's their purpose.
but I don't know, Selectwoman Gilman, if you'd like to offer your thoughts.
I would like to offer, I remember that meeting, and I was very disappointed in it. One of the things that I'm not sure that anybody on the committee is a vet. I could be wrong. I never
The one
asked
fellow
them.
said he had I won't say names. He said he had a draft number, but I don't know if he got a number or if he was drafted, but somehow I don't think he's a vet because if he was a vet, he'd be getting the discounts at his warehouses.
That's right. Can you give me the numbers that you have there?
Sure.
And, what a veteran can get as opposed to what a veteran automatically does
If you
get?
do 20 years, you get all your medical and you get 50% or more of your base pay.
Okay,
If
I'm
you
not going to
served-
remember that.
Okay, I'll write down. If you serve
Send me an email,
2, 4,
please.
6, 8, 10, 12, and you get out, you get a grave and a marker. and an
If you could send, because I believe you said there's a meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Tomorrow night, if you could, and I'm sorry for the short notice, but if you could send Selectwoman Gilman that part of what your statement this evening with the data, that would be incredibly useful for her tomorrow night.
The data that's been used at the meetings has come from the state, but they're
I
also.
looked at that too. It's pretty generic. It's just how many GIs are in the state, how many vets, what wars they served in.
I know, and
Different veterans get different
Well,
benefits.
and it all reports on how many, it depends on how many requests we've had to identify, how many vets we have.
I don't even know how many vets are in town.
And we came up with a number.
I tried to find it and I couldn't find it.
See? But we did have, as mentioned, Mr. Whitehouse came in and asked us to consider the all veterans credit. And
I'm not looking for a deduction. I'm just saying, you just need some information.
Right. No,
For me, it's a gift.
Absolutely.
We understand.
And the committee voted one way, and I brought his concerns back to the committee, and we, I don't know if we reconsidered it at the next meeting.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? I watched it this
The last meeting.
Yeah, the last meeting. I watched it this
No, the last meeting's tomorrow, or the next.
Yeah, it was the one before. I watched it.
But also, I think there is some necessary teaching about what you do and what you get for what you do, I guess. I know some of it from the State House when we've passed different legislation to, raise the number or get the all veterans credit in because that covers much more people than what current law does. Excuse me. There is some other bill coming up for veterans support. I don't know anything about it. I just know it's coming up, but it will probably come through my committee. Not sure. But if you can give me
I'll send
that.
you both a note.
Yes, do that.
It's online, your emails are online. I've seen
They're on the website.
And so I get your email so I can tell you when to start tracking this bill. All right.
Thank you very much.
So we need some education and we need some input. And you're welcome to come to the meetings. They're all public, so. Okay,
thanks.
Thank you.
Selectman Chartrand.
Fred, I just wanted to thank you for the preparation you did before you came here tonight. Your statement was very well prepared and very eloquent. Thank you.
Keep an eye out. So Julie will have your email once they know.
I'll send it in the morning.
The one that'll be coming before the select board. That would maybe be another time to come and speak to the public on that.
I will, when we put this on the agenda for a select board meeting, you're going to copy me on the email that you send to Selectwoman Gilman. I will personally send you an email, let you know when we're on the agenda. Ms. Roy, do you go to those meetings?
I do.
Can we just maybe ask the chair if you could have a couple minutes at the beginning of the meeting to remind folks that they're on TV?
Absolutely.
And maybe review meeting protocol quickly would be.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do that. I believe that, and I'm just trying to look here, I believe they're coming, or they're planning to come on the 27th of October.
Okay.
And just so that everybody understands, the reason why they'd be sending it back to the board is they're an advisory committee, so they make a decision on what they'd like to recommend to the chair, or the committee, excuse me, not just the chair, and then they decide what's on the ballot. And
I think
so
if you
that's,
watch the last video, you'll see that the heartache they were going through.
I completely agree.
So I will confirm with you the 27th, because sometimes our agendas have to change on the fly of the urgent business, but I will definitely confirm with you.
I'm one of the 7 that's always on TV.
Thank you for sharing your family history
Appreciate
with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Earl.
Select Board Committee reports. Selectwoman Gilman, please.
I didn't have anything since our last meeting except for the Preservation Alliance Preservation Conference on October 2nd. Very well attended, one of their highest attendance to date. They were very appreciative of what the Heritage Commission could do to support their setup and basically the party planning aspect of it. There were seminars that were well attended. I did the tour of downtown, which I got a lot of compliments on what people are doing with their downtown spaces. It was supposed to start with what happens when you remove a dam, but since there's no water in the riverbed, it was hard to tell them what's the change that happened here. But I got to show them the etched glass that's up in the library window that looks out to where the dam is, which I brought up, the reason I brought up trees earlier and in a public open room, that we need to remove trees along the riverside of the library wall, because that etching, you can't see half of the bridge anymore, or half of where the dam was. So it was very successful, and I got a little award.
Oh, congratulations.
And so that brings us to this week. I'm having the TCAC meeting, the Heritage Commission and the HDC.
Terrific.
So,
thank you. Selectwoman Belanger, please.
I was just looking at so I really don't have much of one, thankfully. I did volunteer for the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Fest, as always. That was wonderfully attended, great event. Look forward to it every year. And I went to the October 1st preliminary presentation of the BRC, and then I'll be at the all-day one this Friday. But that is my report. I've had no committee.
Thank you. Selectwoman Cowan.
I also have nothing to report.
Selectman Chartrand.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I did have a Sustainability Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, the 1st of the month. We had a great conversation. We continued our conversation about, landfill and diverting things from the landfill through recycling programs. One of our members attended a great seminar and brought back some great information for us and shared that both orally in the meeting, but also sent us a video of the seminar that she attended. So thanks to Julie Gaunt for that. I did have a Concom committee meeting tonight, but obviously couldn't make that one because I'm here. So thank you.
Thanks. I had an E911 committee meeting. Obviously, we went through that this evening, so that was what was discussed there. I attended the October 1st budget meeting with Selectwoman Belanger. Again, the chair, Bob Kelly, gave me an opportunity to speak for a few minutes on behalf of the board to talk briefly about the budget and thank the committee members for the hard work that they'll be rolling up their sleeves to perform in the next coming months. I would like to thank Melissa Roy, our interim town manager, who gave a dynamic presentation to the budget committee, and also thank Mr. Stevens, who was here earlier, for his work working with you in the preparation. It's good to have him back. I'm sure you feel a little relieved.
So.
And then aside from that, I have Swayze Park tomorrow. And
Yes, you do.
Selectman Chartrand is going to cover for me on River Advisory on Thursday, which I'm appreciative, and I'll probably see you Friday.
I will be there. I
Okay.
took the day off from my day job.
Correspondence, we had one piece of correspondence inquiring about the town manager posting and reviewing the board calendar. We meet again on October 27th. You're not here for that.
I am not here for that.
Okay.
No, Molly.
November 11th, Selectwoman Gilman's not here for that one.
Correct.
That's a Tuesday. November 24th, December 8th, and December 22nd. Let's get us through 2025. Is there any other business before the board this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move we move into non-publics under 91A 32B.
32B.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please.
Selectwoman Gilman.
Aye.
Selectman Chartrand.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
The clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. The board will be moving into non-public. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
You stayed for the whole meeting. Good for you.
Thank you for tuning in
Thank
to
you for-
Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.